Alright, so you've got a Quest and want to play the best VR game. However, you have no money for the paid games? Well, have no fear, WaqMan is here. Today, I'm going to give you the best totally free VR games on the Quest. Majority of these games should work on all versions of the Quest, at least for now. However, if you want a paid game for free, we are starting our 60k subscriber giveaway up. We are so close to it. So if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, put on bell notifications and comment hashtag WaqMan60k down below. You could win any free VR game that you want on the Quest. The choice will be yours, so make sure you're in it to win it. Now I just want to say I'm not including games like VR Chat and Rec Room, as these are just too obvious and you'll get to them eventually anyway. Although a majority of VR games nowadays are shooters, however I've tried to mix things up so there should be a game here for everyone. If I have missed any free games that you think are amazing, then let me know in the comments. Also let me know in the comments if you would rate any of these games higher or lower based on your experience. So let's get straight into the video. Now the list isn't in any particular order. So number 1, Population 1. Although this one is probably the best free VR games available, which is why I thought let's just get this one out of the way. I'm sure you've heard of this one by now, but if not, it's essentially Fortnite in VR. A battle royale game where you can build structures similar to Fortnite. You can even glide across the map if you gain enough altitude. Considering Meta bought out the company, it is essentially a flagship game for the Quest. Plus, it used to be a paid game and it was expensive. Now they've made it completely free. So it automatically becomes an awesome game and with loads of people playing it still. So I'm going to give this an S. Number 2, Rampage Agents. This game has something for everyone. It's a battle royale with PvP or co-op. This is similar to other games other than one main thing, which is the full talent system as well. But if like me you're antisocial, and they also have a full adventure mode that can be played solo, or maybe there's one person in the world that you like to play with and you can play with them in co-op. The game is actually quite good. I'm surprised it's free. Usually people charge when releasing a game like this. I'm personally not a fan of the cel shaded graphics, but the guns look really cool and all feel somewhat different. Plus, it even has boss battle, different enemies, and you can grapple across the map. Multiplayer from my perspective is full of tryhard, so play solo until you know how to play and then take it online. But for me, Rampage Agents gets a B. Number 3, Banter. To take you away from some of the PvP shooters, Banter is a social app similar to VR Chat or Rec Room, but maybe not as well known. I'm not even counting Meta Horizon because that's just a terrible app. However, Banter has one unique aspect to it that other social apps don't, and that is the physics-based world. Everything in the game is physics-based, so imagine Boneworks, but you've come out of that world into the multiverse. Now this is still in beta, so it isn't as good as it can be right now. However, it is actually made by SideQuest, so it isn't just a small indie developer making it. There are loads of different unique worlds to try, and for now, Shrieking Kids are at bay. But because it's still only in early access, I'm going to give this a B. Hopefully it'll get even better and become an A. Number 4, Sky Strikers. This is actually a fantastic game where Gorilla Tag meets Rocket League. You essentially are playing on a team and trying to score against the other team. The movement is Gorilla Tag, which is running it with your arms. They aren't gorillas, but mechs. But that allows them to take advantage of diversity. There are 3 different types of mechs you can choose that grant different powers. You have Prime, which gives you a powerful boost jump and a bat to hit the ball with hard. Think of this guy as a striker in football. Then you have Jetstream, which is basically fly and fire the ball across the map or even hover it across. Similar to a midfielder, kind of. And then finally you have a Bullwarp, which is the defender of the team and can create walls out of thin air. And if that wasn't cheesy enough, you can make a portal to teleport the ball or players from one area of the map to another. Honestly, this game is an incredible amount of fun. So it gets an A. Number 5, Ultimex. If you can't handle the movement of Gorilla Tag but still love the idea of Rocket League in VR, then Ultimex is exactly that. I personally don't think it's as good as Sky Strikers, but maybe that game makes you feel sick because of all the jumping around. This is much better for motion sickness from my experience, and it's still fun, if you can find enough players to play. Although it seems to be a lot harder to score since you have to use rockets to fire the ball to score the point, which is surprisingly difficult. Overall still a good game, but I'm going to give this a C. Number 6, Hybo. If you're tired of FPS games and want to go more old school, Hybo is basically using the medieval weaponry of bow and arrow and an occasional sword here and there. You hop around the map shooting enemies in this multiplayer PvP style game. Whilst fighting and getting kills, you can get upgrades, health and ammo. The main issue with the game is currently the lack of players. I think there are a lot of PvP games in VR now, which is understandable why the player base has been spread so thin. But it is actually a good game if more people played it. So I'm going to give this a B. Number 7, X8. Talking about more PvP multiplayer games, here's another one. But this one is a surprisingly good hero shooter. It is basically Valorant in VR. The quality of the game is actually quite impressive. It has multiple different characters you can choose from, each with their own powers and abilities. It has an interesting feature where some of the powers need to be used using hand gestures. But you know, in VR that can be proper pain to get used to. But once you do, you can be a master around the arena. The only problem I've seen with the game is that the matchmaking seems to take a while for some reason. I'm not sure if that's due to the player count or just the game, but it does have a lot of people playing still. And because of the quality of the game, I'm going to give this an A. Number 8. Blast On. If you're tired of running around in PvP shooters, maybe you get motion sickness, well, you have a Matrix simulator here. By that I mean only where he dodges the bullets. The game used to be paid, but since it's a PvP game, it clearly didn't have enough people playing it. So they made it free. It is fun to play with friends. It can get sweaty since the bullets are slow enough for you to dodge, but fast enough for you to keep constantly moving. But it is essentially a stand in one place and dodge while shooting the other guy. Overall, it's a good game that you should at least give a go. But because of the limited playstyle, I'm going to give this a C. Number 9. Grapple Tournament. Here is another PvP shooter with a little bit of a different twist. I swear we won't have many more of these PvP shooters. I picked this one because it was actually quite a lot of chaotic fun. The grappling is a big part of the game as that can give you a major advantage when playing. There are 15 different guns in the game that all have different styles of play, from plasma pistols to rocket launchers. You'll by default be given a bow and arrow as well as a sword to fight off your enemies, but the guns give you the edge. The movement is the key factor. If you can zip around the map fast, you'll be unstoppable. So I'm gonna give this a B. Number 10. Gym Class. This is a really cool game. It has a few different sports such as American football or baseball, but the main game is basketball. This has great ball physics. The only drawback is the need for other people to play. Or you can play on your own. There are no bots, although the game usually has people playing, because it is a great game that is free. Playing with people is actually a lot of fun though, and it really feels like you're playing ball on the street with your friends. So I'm gonna give this one a B. Number 11. Gun Raiders. This is actually a great game. Fully chaotic with gunshots going off everywhere. People flying across the map, just total mayhem. There are a lot of different variety of guns, from rocket launchers to assault rifles to almost everything. There are various different game modes such as Battle Royale, Assault where you raid the enemy base whilst defending your own, Control which is basically capture the flag, Team Deathmatch, and if you don't like anyone then Free for All. There's also tournaments and a lot more things happening. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the artistic style. I personally would have loved more realistic graphics on this game. It would really make it feel like a war, but that's a personal preference. Everything else about this game is great, so you should definitely check it out. So I'm going to give this one an A. Number 12. Hyperdash. This used to be a paid game, but I think they realized for a solely PvP game you need to make it free to have enough people playing. But the game itself is actually quite solid and really fast paced. You dash around the map on rails shooting at each other, you collect different weapons and shields. The shields can be pretty useful. There are various different game modes as well, such as Payload, Domination, Control Point, Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag and more. My main issue with the game is that a lot of other games have actually taken over this genre, and Hyperdash, although it's a good game, doesn't really offer anything special anymore. So personally, I would probably play something else over this. Not because it isn't good, but because others are better and my time is precious. VR games are evolving, so this game would have been amazing in the past. It's just okay now. Still, give it a go. Maybe you'll like it even more than the others. Although majority of the time I was playing with bot. Hopefully you'll have better luck with real people who wipe the rails with you. But for me, I'm going to give this a C. Number 13. Cards and Tankards. This is a unique one on the list, as it's a wholly new card game that has been created. You build your deck and start out against an AI to learn the ropes. Then you go into the next room where the real people are playing. Now remember, not everyone is a good person in this world. So you will find some people that are great and super helpful, and others that shouldn't be allowed out of their basements. But the game itself is actually really good. There isn't a big disadvantage even if you're a new player. The game is quite balanced, but you need to understand what you're doing. I suggest you give the game a go. You'll probably enjoy it if you love card games. So I'm going to give this one a B. Number 14. Gods of Gravity. This one is one of the best games out there. This is a real-time strategy game that has both single-player and multiplayer options. You choose between 3 types of ships which have offensive and defensive capabilities. You need to create a fleet of ships to take down your enemies, a bit similar to League of Legends but in VR. You also need to protect and nurture different planets and moons. There are wormholes which allow your ships to traverse the map very quickly, but be careful of the sun as it can explode and become a black hole. There's so much more to the game that you should definitely check it out. I'm going to give this one an S. Number 15. Yeep's Hide and Seek. Here's a game that took Gorilla Tag and made it much better. They added so many more features and things to do. Different maps, different game modes like duking it out in a boxing match, playing hide and seek, which is essentially tag, You can build things, you can destroy things, you can glide, and so many more things. Gorilla Tag is still the pioneer in the movement mechanic, from what I know anyway. But this game has taken it to a level even further beyond. But be warned, it will be filled with screeching kids. But if you are one of them, then you will love this game. So I'm going to give this one an A. Number 16. Roblox. I don't think there is much I need to say about this, but you can play Roblox on your Quest. The best use is finding VR games, as there are actually a lot, especially since it has been released on the Quest. It has a variety of different games on it, as anyone is able to build a game and put it on the platform. But that is a bad thing as well, as you will need to weed out all the rubbish from the good stuff. Another thing is, it's not really a place for adults, it's full of little kids. I can't spend much time in it without feeling like I really shouldn't be here. Plus, the quality of the games can be a hit or miss. So I'm going to give this one a B. Number 17. Animal Company. This is a game that I'm surprised is as good as it is, especially since it ripped off Gorilla Tag. But it honestly feels like Gorilla Tag 2.0. I don't really know why people would even play Gorilla Tag after this game has come out, since Animal Company has horror, it has challenges, it has grinding for money, buying items with the in-game currency that you can earn, and it's actually what Gorilla Tag should have been in the first place from my view. Let me know in the comments if you still play Gorilla Tag, or if you prefer Animal Company now. I see that it's become extremely popular as well. So I'm gonna give this one an A. Number 18. Gorilla Tag. Now let's talk about the original. This is a game that invented an entire genre of movement, or at least popularized it. Some players are able to move in ways that I could only dream of. It has a lot of updates and people still play the game a lot actually. But I think it's a lot more chill version of Animal Company. Although you'll still hear the shrieking kids, I still think Gorilla Tag has a place. Especially if you just want to hang around with your friends and monkey it up. But if you want more excitement, then the other games similar to this on this list is probably what you're looking for. However, I can't really give this game much lower than an A. It still deserves it because it's the original. Number 19. Harvest VR. This is actually a really unique one on the list. It's a farming simulator where you get to farm crops, mine, fish, rear animals, and then slaughter them. You then use your farming business to sell your harvest, to buy new and better tools. You can even play on real time or simulated time depending on how you want to extend the game and how realistic you want it to be. There is so much to the game, like challenges, things to unlock, things to buy, decorating your house. I highly recommend it to anyone that enjoys these type of games. And I was considering what rating I should really give this one, but based on the amount of things you can actually do and it's free, I have to give this an A. And last but not least, number 20, Polar Dread. Now, do you want Five Nights at Freddy's game, but it's too expensive? Well, I've got your back. Polar Dread is essentially the free version of Five Nights at Freddy's, but it might be even scarier. It's definitely more interactive. You can throw things, hide under desks, close vents, and do anything you can to hide. Until that clock strikes 6. But be warned, it is terrifying. For me at least. So if you like horror or Five Nights at Freddy's, then definitely give this one a go. I'm gonna give this one a B. Well, that's all folks. Here are the best 20 free Quest games that I was able to find. If I missed any, then let me know in the comments. And remember to enter the giveaway, as you could win any paid Quest game that you want. Well, thanks for watching. Have a great day, stay safe, and see you next time.